What's good, mini crafters? Today's video is all about wood. More specifically, how to weather it up in an easy way for you to add to your tabletop terrain. There are a ton of ways that people weather up their wood for their tabletop terrain, but I think I have found a formula that's not only easy to do, but it's going to get you a pretty cool end result. And I think the first step is actually going to surprise you. To start, I'm going to be using this little wooden set of stairs that I made from balsa wood. I've been seeing lots of Mordheim terrain being built, and it got me in the decrepit, decaying mood. You can do this on anything you want though, and I'm going to be sharing some tips that should help no matter what wooden structure you're trying to weather up. The first step that I thought might surprise you is what I'm actually going to be choosing for my base coat on this ladder. Instead of a dark brown or another color that you might go for when painting up wood, I'm going to be reaching for a gray color, in this case Citadel's Celestra Gray. This will give the wood a really worn out, dried out appearance at the end, like it's been baking in a desert or on a beach for a minute. I'm aiming to cover the whole thing in this color, but while the paint is still wet, I'm going to be taking a second color, which is a tan color. I'm going to be wet blending that into the middle of each step. Realistically, when you walk up the stairs, you step in the middle of each step, unless you're a weirdo. To emulate this more worn out area, you want to lighten it up. So by keeping my gray color at the edges of each step and then wet blending a tan color in the middle, I'm going to be getting that effect. Now you might be asking, Samuel, what is this wet blending term that you keep throwing around here? And I would say, well, it's a fancy pants art term that's going to literally change how you paint and get you some really cool blending effects. If you're interested, I just made a video that goes more in depth on this technique and how to do it. That'll be linked in the upper right hand corner and down in the description below, so be sure to check it out. Back at my stairs, I'm finishing up my base coat of the rough wet blend. I need to let this dry entirely before I move on to my second step. This is just a nice simple application of some Agrax Earthshade. This stuff is a contrast paint, which is unique in the fact that it is transparent, but also high in pigmentation. This means that you can see colors underneath it when it dries, but it's also going to give you a nice tint or stain, if you will. It also looks to get into the recesses and details of whatever you apply it to. So be sure to apply it thinly because it can sometimes pool up if you're not careful. I'm going to be hitting my whole staircase with a coat of this and then using my brush to move any pooled paint around so that it's evenly distributed. Then we're going to let this dry entirely before our third and final step. See, I told you this was going to be easy. Our last step is a good old dry brushing of Morghast bone. This is going to do two things. First, it's going to boost the detail of our wood by grabbing the edges and the grain of our wood. Second, it's going to help tie everything together in a uniform way. But I'm going to be focusing this dry brushing layer in the middle of the stairs to further highlight the high traffic area. Something to be aware of when dry brushing is that you want to go against the grain, which I understand is a little ironic because we're painting wood. But this is going to be essential because you're going to want to catch the uppermost edges of whatever details you are dry brushing. This is going to leave your shadow color nice and dark. I'm also going to be dry brushing the edges of the steps to bring some of the highlight there as well. And that is it. Weathered wood done easy. 3 simple steps and you're going to end up with something that looks like this. It's perfect for any tabletop game like Mordheim, D&D, or Warcry. But if you wanted to push this further and add an extra layer of weathering, you could get some green paint or a wash of some sort and push that into the corners of the steps to emulate growing moss and algae. But what if you don't like the look of the wood that I just did and you don't like the colors that I chose? You're in luck because no one is making you use this specific formula or process. You don't have to start with a grayish base coat like I did. You could start with a more traditional dark brown color and go that route. Or you could do something kind of crazy and start with something that's more reddish or orangish. What you base coat your wood in can change the atmosphere and the feel of where that wood is in its setting. Is it in a desert? Maybe it's in some mossy jungle setting? Or is it newer and maybe it's only just now starting to become weathered? Each of the steps I showed you can be interchanged and adjusted to make your wood look however you want it to look. If you come up with an interesting paint combination or you have a go-to process, I'd love it if you drop it in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And that little bell button down below is going to notify you when I drop a new video so you don't miss anything. I hope you liked the video, and if you want to support the channel, I have some Amazon affiliate links down below to the supplies, tools, things that I use in my projects that you can get yourself. It'll give a little extra kickback to the channel at no extra cost to you. How about that? I'm going to see you in the next one, but until then, keep on crafting. Oh.